Hi, I'm Anna, and today we're going to make crayon art out of the old crayons that you don't really want anymore, but that someone could probably use because they're still perfectly fine. But instead, we're going to spend our Saturday night making an art project out of them. Sound good? It'll probably make a mess anyway. First, for the first project, start with some cardboard, like a cereal box, and all those old crayons that you don't want but that someone else could use. Add to that a hot glue gun, and of course some extra glue, and then get a hair dryer because that's really the important part. Go ahead and put the crayons in whatever order you want and hot glue them down to the top of the paper. I sped it up and skipped a little bit because it's boring to watch the whole thing. Be careful not to burn yourself. I know I did. Then get your hair dryer and start to melt the crayons. This will take a while, so I also skipped ahead on this one because it's boring just to watch this. But as you can see, I put mine in rainbow order, so now the colors of the rainbow are all next to each other, and it will look very pretty. Add a couple finishing blow dries, and then you'll be done. For our next project, we are also going to use some of those crayons that nobody wants. Start with those again. Add a pencil sharpener, some wax paper, a piece about that size will do, your ironing board, and an iron, and some parchment paper, then a shape cookie cutter of your choice, a pencil, some scissors, and then of course we'll need a pin cushion and some thread and a little pair of sewing scissors. Go ahead and start to shade the crayon colors of your choice using the pencil sharpener. You'll be left with half a crayon that's very pointy. Go ahead and rip off a piece of wax paper and start to sprinkle on the crayon however you want. It will melt and some of the colors will run together, and it may end up looking pretty ugly because I put some colors next to each other that probably shouldn't have gone next to each other. So maybe just stick to colors that would all look good together. I don't know. Then cover this creation with another piece of wax paper the same size. Go ahead and get out your ironing board. Sometimes they're hard to wrestle with. I know mine is. Then get out your iron. The iron is the greatest invention that modern man came up with. Keeps us from looking like wrinkly ragamuffins. Plug it in. Hopefully you already knew to do that though. And bring over your crayon creation. Be careful not to spill. Cover it with a piece of parchment paper so that your iron doesn't get covered in crayon bits, and then go ahead and iron over the top. You don't need to iron too much because it will make a big mess. So just a couple times. Crayon melts very easily. Look at that! Go ahead and flip it over, putting the piece of parchment paper on top. Yes, I said on top, people. And then iron it again. Not too many times, just a couple. Ta-da! You're finished! That part. Take your cookie cutter and start to trace it across the page. Now this part will take you a while because my shape was very small. So if your shape is bigger, it won't take as long. My shape was small and it took a long time to fill the whole page with heart shapes. Also, it was kind of boring. But we'll pretend I didn't say that because I want you guys to do the craft project. Next, go ahead and cut them out. So this part was also a long time. Took a long time and it was kind of boring. So I sped it up for you. Wow, look at me go. This is 1 minute later. I only have like 4 hearts done, I guess. Look at me go again. Yay. ahead and get out a needle and some thread. Cut a long piece. We are going to make a garland out of these hearts. You can make something else. You can make them mobile. You can throw them away. I don't care. Well, I do, but we made a garland out of them. We'll go ahead and just thread them all through. This part took a while too. My thread even broke once. That's what I'm doing there. Keep threading. Just keep going. It'll take a little while. Go ahead and cut off the extra because you don't need a needle attached. And then go ahead and hold it up to admire it. Wow, look at that. Be careful with this garland. Because it's made of crayon, you probably shouldn't put it in a window. If it gets too hot, it'll melt. You also probably shouldn't put it in your attic, because in the summer, it will get hot and it will melt into a big puddle of mess. So basically, it's a pointless little garland that you won't be able to use for much, because it will make a mess if you're not careful. So there's our 2 finished art pieces. I'm so glad you could watch with me and watch me do such a fun craft project. We worked very hard today, and I'm proud of you. Follow me on Twitter.